Hi everyone, I'm Professor Dean, one of the instructors for MP NTP 651. This video will show you how to install the virtual machine software VirtualBox for Apple and macOS computers. We'll use this software throughout the semester for our various labs and computer exercises. To begin, you want to go to your browser and Google VirtualBox or search for VirtualBox, and you will come up to this Oracle VM VirtualBox. This will be open their website, and click download VirtualBox. And for Apple and macOS computers, we're going to want to click this OS X host. This will initiate the download process for the installation file for your computer. I've already done that here, so I'm just going to go to my downloads and open up that file. It's going to do some checking. You're going to want to double click on the package installer. Click continue. Run Oracle, install. You'll have to either enter your password or Touch ID if you have that enabled. And then it's going to go through the installation process. It should be fairly fast, taking just a few minutes. Like I said, we'll be using this software mostly because you'll be getting your hands on and seeing various different types of software that we use for conducting various types of neuroimaging analyses. And we've created a virtual machine that has all the software that you will need already installed, so you don't have to install all this software on your own computer. You just have to install this one piece. All right, so the installation was successful. We're going to go ahead and click close. You can go ahead and move that to trash. We won't need the installation file again. One thing I will say is when you first try to install VirtualBox based on some of the new security settings on Apple computers, you may run into an error the first time you try to install. To overcome that, you can go to your system preferences and open up security and privacy here. And on the general tab, if you do run into this error, you'll see some other options that pop up right here in this window. And you're going to want to head and click there should be an option that says allow, and it basically is you telling your computer to manually allow the installation of that VirtualBox machine. So you're going to want to go ahead and click allow and then rerun through that that installation process. So if you run into that error, you should be able to go again to your system preferences, security settings, click allow, and rerun the package installation. Feel free to, at any time, to contact me, one of Professor Byrne or Alexander or any of the TAs for help with that. All right, so now that we've installed the software, I'm going to go to my Launchpad applications folder and go ahead and open VirtualBox. And the first thing you're going to see is something that looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And okay, so you're going to go ahead and see this folder or this kind of screen here. So like I said, we have installed, or we have created a virtual machine that you can just import into VirtualBox, and that should allow you to get everything working. So to do that, you're going to want to go ahead and download the virtual machine file from the course's box drive that I've passed out to everyone. So let's see, for me, it's here, virtual machine. You're going to want to go ahead and download this file. It's called neuroimagingmethods.oba. It's a fairly large file, so it might take a little bit of time to download from your computer, depending on your network access. Go ahead and download that, or copy it to a place that you can then import it. So then what you're going to do is you're going to come over to the main window from VirtualBox. I've already downloaded it to my desktop. You can kind of see it here. And I'm going to click on import, and I'm going to click on local file system. And then I'm going to go ahead and browse for that file. So like I said, it's here on my desktop, this guy here. I'm going to click open. Then you're going to click continue. All of these things you don't necessarily need to worry about. You can go ahead and let that keep those default settings for now, and go ahead and import. And you'll see that it's beginning to import. It's going to take a little bit of time to do so, but after it finishes, we'll take a look to make sure that everything's installed correctly. Okay, so this is finished importing. It took about 5 minutes or so to do it. So now your main VirtualBox machine should look something like this. You'll see this neuroimaging methods machine that says powered off here. That is the virtual machine, and this is how you will go ahead and start when doing a computer exercise or a lab for the course. This is how you will start that virtual machine. Now, a virtual machine is essentially it's like its own computer, basically. And in this case, we'll be using a Linux operating system called Ubuntu, which should be pretty familiar to most folks in terms of the way that the layout looks in the feel for it. It's very much like a Mac or Windows kind of feel. So you can go ahead and double click on that and power up this machine, and you will get a message that looks like this, and it'll go through a small boot up process. Some of these windows will pop open. You don't necessarily need to worry about those. Let me make this a little bit bigger. But essentially, this is starting a whole session of the Ubuntu operating system. So you'll see a login screen here, merge methods. Now the password for this is 651. Short and simple. Go ahead and start that, and it will bring you to the desktop on the virtual machine, which will look like this. Okay, so this is what the desktop for Ubuntu 20.04, I think, the latest version looks like. You should see here on the left-hand panel is a dock. The first icon or application in that dock is something that you'll become very familiar with throughout the course, which is called the terminal. The next icon is maybe something that you're all familiar with, Firefox web browser. These two things are primarily what you'll be using. And maybe this files application here. The other ones are kind of Linux's, Apple Music, Linux's Word or Pages, application or software applications, and then they're kind of mail. So go ahead and open up the terminal, and you'll come to a window that looks like this. So just to test out to make sure that the different software that we've installed is all there, I'm going to type in a command called FSL, and it should open up a little window that looks like this. And that's great because it means that the FSL neuroimaging tools aren't properly installed. I can also do something, if we say AFNI, this should open up a window that will pop open a few different windows. Again, this is great because this means that the AFNI neuroimaging tools that we'll be working with are also installed properly. And then I'm just going to go ahead and close all those. And Now, throughout the course, we'll learn various ways to use the terminal. The first kind of lectures that we go through will be dedicated to just specifically using the terminal and understanding the basics of Linux and a Unix kind of operating system in ways that we can use the terminal. So like I said, you'll become very comfortable and familiar with using this terminal window. But this is how you go about installing the VirtualBox machine software that we'll use throughout the course. All of our labs and exercises should be done within this VirtualBox, on this Linux operating system. Again, because those software tools are already installed as part of this, and that will basically allow you to not have to install them on your own local machine. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact me, like I said, Drs. Byrne or Alexander, or one of the TAs for this process. And we'll, I guess the last thing to do is, just like any other computer, once you're done with a session, you can come up this little down drop arrow here, go ahead and power off. Doesn't matter, power off here. And I'm just going to power off, and that will close the VirtualBox session and bring you back to the VirtualBox machine window, or yep. And afterwards, you can just close that, and you're all set. All right, I will sign off for this video. And if you have any questions for installing that VirtualBox onto your computer, please let us know. Thanks.